Hey everybody, this is Kevin Purcell with the Theotek podcast. We are back live tonight, recording through YouTube streaming now instead of Hangouts on Air. It's really Hangouts on Air, just moved over to YouTube. And I figured out how to do it after sort of panicking when the news came down that they supposedly were going to get rid of it, but they just moved it. But we are here tonight. A couple of interesting things have happened since we were last with you. One of them is that Logos 7 shipped. And I knew it was imminent because I was a beta tester, and they were doing release candidates for the last 2 or 3 updates, and so
they did not invite me to be a beta tester.
They did not. Well,
Nor I.
Really a good idea that they didn't invite you, to be honest with you. But secondly, the second thing that's happened is I have myself a handsome, fancy new Samsung Galaxy Note 7. And we'll do an unboxing right here on air. No, actually we won't, because I've already unboxed it.
You should do an unboxing, but just remember, you have to get slower as you unbox, just like the OS does.
Well, I'll unbox it. Nothing left in this box. So, anyway.
Were you talking about the phone or Logos?
Oh, shush, stop!
Let's go forward. We're going to introduce this, guys. Those of you who view this are in a rare treat tonight because that is a rare form. That wonderful cackling sound came from Wes Allen.
Hi!
A pastor and the wonderful publisher of Painfully Hopeful.
Yes, that would be me. .me. Painfullyhopeful.me.
All right. And tonight might be just painful. Anyway, and then on my screen next to him, we see the ever snarky tonight, Rick Mansfield.
Good evening.
From Accordance Bible Software, and he is doing product placement for Starbucks.
Yes. I'm sitting in a Starbucks that looks exactly like my house.
Yeah, he had his house turned into a Starbucks. So next to him, the big Nats fan here is LaRosa Johnson. How are you, LaRosa?
Doing well.
Yeah,
I love that the phones are getting bigger and the boxes are getting smaller.
I didn't even notice that hat. I don't know if I can be in this hangout with you.
It looks a little bit like the Wisconsin symbol used to look a long time.
Wait, I missed the hat. What was on the hat?
It's a Washington Nationals hat.
Ah.
He's one of the 6 Washington Nationals fans in existence.
Rick is from Accordance Bible Software, and LaRosa.
Or thislamp.com. I've actually got some new posts there from the last couple of weeks.
And LaRosa is from Olive Tree Bible Software, as well as LaRosa.
LaRosaJohnson.com.
There you go. He's got that going. And then we also have man holding...
Honey Badger, don't care.
I'm not sure who that is behind that. Who are you, sir? That's Antoine Wright. There he is. The handsome and devilishly good.
Devilish.
Suave and debonair.
There's always a devil in theology discussions, aren't there?
Detail.
This is a very strange group tonight.
You have a strange.
Maybe it's a full moon. I don't know.
No, I think it's allergies.
We are hoping, or we're hoping, I'm not sure which we should say yet, but a man from Logos Bible Software by the name of Mark Ward. He is Dr. Mark Ward. We arranged for him to come and join us on the show tonight and talk about, just to quickly demonstrate some of the features of Logos 7. And I have sent him a couple invitations. I haven't heard anything yet as to whether he can't join us. He said earlier today that he definitely would join us tonight. And so hopefully he will. But until...
Sometimes Logos runs slow, so...
Well, until then, we'll just do our best. I am, I think, the lone Logos Bible Software regular user. I think, Rick, you still own it and have it installed, but you don't really use it much, do you?
I occasionally use it as a reader. I actually use the iPad app a little bit more. I use it as a reader for the occasional title that's not in accordance.
Okay. Well, I've got it open here, and I'll tell you that it installed on my Mac beautifully without any difficulty whatsoever. Unfortunately, I did have some struggles getting it on my Surface Pro 4, but it turns out it was user error, sort of, and that is that my antivirus software was blocking it, and I thought I had shut that off, but it didn't shut off, and so until I finally did shut off my antivirus software, it did load.
To its credit, it installed fine on both of my machines.
Okay, good. And if
See,
you're
I can
a
say nice things.
regular Logos user, then what you'll see here is something you're used to seeing, and this is the opening home page, which by default is what's going to come up. I've turned this off, so it's not been a long time since I've even looked at it, but it sort of looks like a Pinterest-style newspaper-y kind of thing.
The interface didn't change. It's the interface is the same for people who use it regularly. It's essentially the same interface that's kind of been there since version 4, right?
Generally speaking, yeah.
I'm speaking positively.
Yeah. They've got their toolbar across the top here. The home button is what brings this up. If you click it again, it'll go away. And right now I've edited my toolbar, so my toolbar does not look like what the default toolbar would look like. But if you just click on that, it'll open up your goodies, and you can see what you have. Go in here to the library, and let's see here. Let's sort by title, and we'll find the NAC. So we can open up a commentary, and of course, that's at its most basic level. It's a Bible software. It's got you can open up Bibles, commentaries, books, things like that. Now, one of the new features that they have, if you click on this Layouts button over here, they've got these Quick Start layouts that are sort of some interesting.
Well, they had quick layouts before. This is just some new variations, right?
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I really haven't dived in, so I'm not entirely sure what's special or different about this, except that
it's kind of like the saved workspaces in Accordance.
Yeah, you click on one of these and it'll open up stuff. Now you can make your own.
Right.
These are all my saved layouts down here, which, to be honest with you, I'd rather do this and just keep using my saved layouts.
And that was my question. It's really customizable. Like, you can tweak it to make it as minimal or as bloated as you want.
Yeah, Logos has always been very customizable.
Cool.
It's we can complain about some of the problems that it has, but this is one thing I do like about it, and that is that it's customizable. So this opened up I don't even remember what I opened there. That was the passage.
You opened Accordance.
The passage study, which just opens up your top Bible and your top commentary and the Explorer window. And the Explorer window will change depending on where you go. So like if I go to 2 Kings chapter 1, then New American Commentary goes to 2 Kings chapter 1, and you get the Explorer window. You see all these things, the biblical events, biblical people, biblical places. I don't seem to have anything. My content, I don't have anything. Media.
You mean you haven't studied 2 Kings?
Pardon me?
You haven't studied 2 Kings? You haven't taken any notes on it?
This is a bad group tonight, man.
Commentary, so there's lots of good stuff in there. So that's one of the new features. Let's see if I can remember what. If you go into these documents, is it in document? No, it's in tools that you find it.
What are you looking at?
One of the new features is sermon editor.
That's in documents.
Is it in documents?
Yeah, go to documents and then go to sermon. Look at me showing you how to use Logos.
I'm looking for sermon editor because that's the feature type.
It.
They really should call that new sermon editor, but I guess calling it a new sermon is better. This is a built-in sort of quasi-word processor. I could see the value in this if you really wanted to do all of your writing inside it. What it's got is some interesting things that you can create a handout sheet and some questions.
And if you're a Proclaim user, it's really tightly integrated with Proclaim.
Yeah, what's Proclaim? Tell us what Proclaim is.
It's used by pastors. It's presentation software for churches.
Yeah, it's and they've made Proclaim to kind of work alongside,
Kind of like what are the other ones? Gosh, I can't even
Like
think.
Media Shout.
Yeah,
and-
Media Shout. And
I just did a review recently of Media Shout, and so this sermon, I'm not going to show you all the details, but it is kind of interesting. For example, you can, if you want to, somehow you can quickly add a passage. Oh, I know. I think you just type it in. John 3:16, and see, it just loads it automatically for you in your top verse, and then you've got a slide here that you could then edit, open up in their media tool that lets you create some slides for a presentation.
Hey, Kev, are they still using HTML as their background engine?
No.
Because that editor really made me think of a web editor.
No, they're not.
For the sermon editor. Okay.
They haven't used HTML since Lebronix 3.
Okay. Sorry, Kev. Keep going.
That's okay. I'm glad he can answer that because I couldn't. I don't know the answer to that.
.NET is the underlying technology, and
that's right. You're right. I'm sorry. I did know that. I just forgot it.
Hey, well, while you guys are there, while you're there, Kevin, and maybe both Rick and Laurus can chime in on this. I mean, I see a feature like this, this being able to have some slide-ready pieces for sermon, as being useful, how often, or at least do you see that as something that's a pretty popular feature within Bible apps? That ability to kind of create slide-ready content and then share it, either to a projector or to live worship or whatever worship software your venue is using. Is that a fairly popular use?
I don't know how popular it is. I can't really think of anyone who's ever requested it in the Accordance forums, although I could be wrong. But I could see how it'd be useful. And again, this is although the Logos will also export to PowerPoint as well, and I think even Keynote on the Mac. But again, I think for your pastor who's using Proclaim and who's creating his slides in Proclaim, that's going to be a really useful feature because it's going to be tightly integrated.
Yeah, it's got send to Proclaim, send to PowerPoint, send to Keynote on my Mac.
Right.
If you don't have a Mac, then it just has PowerPoint and Proclaim, I think, there. For some reason, I feel like there's something else that there might be. Anyway, of course, you can also save as so that you could put it in.
But yeah, for me, and this is, I'm not saying anything negative against Logos or this feature at all. I just, for me, when I preach and if I create slides to go with it, I'm so I don't know. I'm just very particular about them, and I like to create them myself and lay out the text in particular ways. But certainly that's a time saver. One of their slogans in one of their videos was "Take Back Saturday Night," which I don't know if that's a good.
I hated that slogan. That just took me out.
Because hopefully they're pastors who start their sermons earlier in the week. But
hopefully, it seems pejorative to me.
Yeah.
Because I can't.
It's an old inside pastoral joke, and it's so tired.
I hope that was meant as a joke, not as a truism.
Well, it's basically us assuaging our guilt for not doing any real study.
So, though, who, they're Saturday night special preachers, and I've done those when I absolutely had to, because I didn't have a choice, but not, it's not something I want to do.
I mean, and there are some bivocational pastors that have to.
Well, let's look back. I want to make a comment on the thing. I'm with Rick. I like to make my own slides, just because I'm a nerd that way. But what Logos creates is very beautiful. I've always had kind of very strange feelings towards some of these pre-designed layouts for really beautiful and it's so dreamy and wonderful stuff. I guess, Kevin, I made a slide on the Bible app for YouVersion with this amazing, gorgeous background. It was like this ethereal thing, and I quoted the thing where one of the prophets was saying how they were going after the men who had rather large male parts and things like that, and I did it deliberately to show, some of the scriptures are deliberately not beautiful. There's just we need to understand wisdom on here. That's the whole thing. So that's my struggle with things like that, because I've seen pastors put up these really beautiful slides and I'm going, But that's a horrible thing that you're putting up there, and
Yeah, those aren't the
making it
verses.
happy.
Those aren't the
So-
verses that you'll see. What does Logos call? It's where they have the visualizations of Scripture. They're usually always there on that
Yeah,
first page. I can't remember what they call them, but you won't see those verses there.
right. No, it's that you only see precious moments versions in that.
Yeah, you won't
But
see
it is
what's
it
the
is
King
a-
James phrase? He that pisseth
Right.
on the wall, or something like that. You won't
Yeah.
see that. Just bleep that out later, Kevin.
It's a beautiful, beautiful feature, and if people use it really well, Logos really knocked it out of the park with that.
So let me
Go
ask.
on
Then,
to the
'cause-
next. Go ahead.
So,
Anton.
that as I'm not a Logos user, I haven't been for a long time, because I found that as a product it kind of went away from the personal study, more personal academic study tool to something that's more of the pastor's study. And now I see a feature like this that's trying to go from the pastor's study to almost like a presentation or a proxy presentation tool. Is that the evolution of Logos here? I mean, I know Logos is now Faithlife and all that other good fun stuff. And there's
Antoine, let me answer that question for you. I think the answer to that is this is another feature. Logos their philosophy is, hey, let's give as much as we can to as many people as we can to be as appealing to everybody. And so this is another feature. And if you're someone who would find that useful, then you're going to really like this because it's handled well, it's nice, and I like it. I'm with the other guys. I don't use the visualizations from Logos. Sometimes we'll pull out some of the media and some of the visuals that have to do with passages. And so when you do like a passage guide, for example, if I'm going to these guides right here, you notice they're right here, and they've got a bunch of them. Actually, this is what sold me on Logos. And by the way, I'm pronouncing it Logos. I know they pronounce it Logos, but that's just...
I'm with you. I can't purposefully mispronounce it.
I can't mispronounce it that way, right? So anyway,
always.
Make one of these passage guides, then it will show you all the visuals related to your passage, and I'll sometimes put those in my presentation.
That's not bad.
Yeah. Now let me quickly jump to another. I want to hit some of the major features. One of this new ones is this courses tool, and you can get it by the tools menu. Click on courses, and it brings this up. And Logos has this thing that they're trying to do, and that is to create some at-home education. They call it mobile education. I think the branding of it is strange, mobile, especially since it doesn't work as well in mobile devices as it does on the desktop. So I think they mean mobile as in taking it away from the seminary or away from the college to your home. But you can bring these things up and create some stuff. And so what if you want to learn something? For example...
Why would I want to do that?
I don't know. If you want to learn... I'm trying to... There's one... Here it is. Let's say you want to learn about the book of Ephesians. And so that one of the things that kind of comes with most of the new base packages, we'll talk about how to get Logos 7 in a minute, is this introduction to the epistle of Ephesians. And so it's got 13 lessons in it, and you can go through these lessons. So again, Antoine, this was something you were talking about, it being more for the individual, not just the pastor. This might be the kind of feature that would be more appealing to the non-academic, someone who's a home user might be more interested in this, or somebody who is, look, I feel called to do ministry, maybe be a lay pastor, a lay preacher. I don't have the time, the money, or the inclination to go to seminary or Bible college, but I've got $800, and so I'm going to drop it on a Logos 7 starter package, and then add some tools and courses and things like that, and you can get this. And so,
does those? I don't see anything on those requirements. I'm guessing it might be in the help, but any kind of educational component usually needs to fold into some kind of accreditation or badging or certification or something like that. I wonder if that has any kind of backing like that, so that somebody's not taking courses to just say that I took a course in this. That they actually.
They don't have accreditation. I know I know that when they first came out with the mobile education, there were some schools that talked about how they might implement it in their classes, where they would say, instead of buying so-and-so's book on whatever, we're going to ask you to buy Logos, at the time 6, I believe is when it came out, or maybe even 5, and their course on the book of Ephesians.
And I think, Antoine, these are just for personal edification. So I think lacking accreditation isn't really isn't necessary. It's the same way like a lynda.com works.
Yeah.
You take a class, and I don't have anything to show for it, but I learned something.
Yeah, the only thing with these mobile ed courses, I mean, they cost just as much as taking a seminary course.
Exactly. That's where I was going to say.
You don't have to
you factor in the cost of Logos and this,
Yeah, you don't have to move to, say, where I live right now, there's not a good place for me to go and sit in a classroom on a regular basis except for a couple of non-credited schools. So I don't have to move, or I don't have to quit my job
Right.
And I can still get some pretty good education. I mean, I've gone through a couple of the courses, and they're really good courses. I like them. It's just they're at a level that I've already been at. So, but anyway, so that's one of the cool tools that you can get take advantage of.
The best way to automatically track your drives.
Hello.
Who's tracking drives?
I'm sorry. I was trying to get a link to our podcast to send someone via email, and an ad came on. So I'm saying skip that. Sorry, and I turned off the volume. My apologies.
When you go to logos.com and you click on the brand new features, these are the 3 the 3 headline features that they mentioned. The one we've already talked about, the quick start layouts, the courses tool, the sermon editor. If you want to know everything, you can go into their forums, which you do by coming back over here and click on support and then forums. And I've already got it open. And then go into the Logos 7 forum, and there's a post here called What's Included, and I'll put a link to this on our page. And so these are all the new things that if you were not a Logos Now subscriber, which again, I'll explain what that means in a second, and you had Logos 6, and you bought a base package of Logos 7 with at least the bronze level, this is, I think, these are all the things that you would get. Now, I'm just scrolling quickly, okay? There's lots of little things in here, and to be honest with you, I've been a Logos Now subscriber, and I really haven't used much of these because it's not the way I work. Sometimes I wonder why I'm a Logos Now subscriber. Like this Bible browser, it's only in Logos Now. You can't get it in just Logos 7. But the sermon editor, the courses tool, I don't know if you're seeing that too well. If I make my screen text bigger, Reader's Edition, interlinear, the passage list, visual filter. This is more than just a concordance. I know that when you say what? Isn't that what Bible software is? A concordance?
Wait, did you say accordance?
No.
Oh, okay.
You go back to sleep, Rick. The concordance is something that lots of the users are excited about. I haven't used it. Here's the Bible browser.
Why? I mean, you can just do that with a search.
Well, it's what it is it's. I think and again, I'm not someone who's used this much. What I would say this is, and notice it's taking a while to generate because I think I've never run it before on this computer.
Are you doing it for like an entire book?
The book is called the Bible.
Are you doing like the English Standard Version? You're doing a concordance of that?
What's that?
You're doing a concordance of the entire English Standard Version?
I can create that in accordance in like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, but this isn't
using the analysis tool.
Again, and you guys are being very impatient and very snarky and not letting me explain it. I'm sorry I'm not explaining it well, but this is more than just a concordance.
Okay.
It's poorly named.
My apologies.
And so what it's doing is it's helping you create incredibly advanced searches. I'm not explaining it well, so just go on here and figure it out. I'm not someone who uses
like he described it a little bit. It actually does parts of speech. It does. You can see how many times Paul uses this word when it's translated this way. I mean, he showed that in the live setting, which I thought was good. I was just wondering, like, I knew it took a long time because you were doing the entire Bible. I figured if you would generate a concordance, you would do it like one book at a time. So be a little easier.
Right.
So
again, it's not something I've really used that much. So again, now you can tell I haven't used it at all. In fact, because it's that's the
it's
first
still
time.
loading.
I'm not a very good describer of this update because I just didn't have time to bang on it like I did in past updates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mark Ward will watch this later and wish he had been on here.
Yeah, he's really going to wish he was here because this is
I would have loved to see him.
done very poorly compared to what it could have been if someone who's a pro at it.
So you have basically an interlinear down at the bottom there.
Yeah, that's
not new though.
For years.
No, but it's nice.
So
It's nice to see.
Kevin, giving grace to you because I mean, you honestly you haven't had time to bang on it. What makes somebody that may have Logos now or 6 or 5? What are some of the things that kind of stick out to you that make 7 a worthwhile investment then?
Well, if you have Logos now, you get Logos 7.
Okay.
All right, you don't. Now, if you stop subscribing to Logos now, then you lose Logos 7 somewhat. You'll have the basic engine, but you won't have any of the extra features. Logos now is purely subscription. You get everything that's in the thing as long as you pay for the subscription. Just like you only get access to your songs in Spotify that you've downloaded.
But I wonder how that would work. I mean, because like when you had Logos pulled up there a minute ago, it said installed Logos 7. So I think you ought to unsubscribe live for us from Logos now, and we could watch what happens to Logos to see if it reverts back to 6.
Well, what'll happen, Rick, is it won't revert back to 6. You'll keep the engine of 7, but you'll lose all the data sets.
Okay.
Right. That's when I said
without the data sets, it's essentially 6. Is that what we're
yeah.
saying? Okay.
Well, sort of.
Well, it'll still have the sermon editor, right?
No.
Because that's part of the engine.
No, that's one of the features. You have just the basic underpinning software. It's sort of like for those of you who might understand, like a Linux, you'd have the Linux kernel, but you won't have the overlay on top of it. You won't have GNU.
Okay.
So that's a good analogy to use.
You won't be able to do anything.
You'll get the core engine, but you won't have all the data sets and the extra features.
The drivers will be loaded.
Right.
But you can't actually do anything with them. Okay, good.
Okay.
And
yeah, so the only way you would be able to keep those features if you stop subscribing to Logos now is
to buy the individual package.
right.
Yeah, is to get a Logos 7 base package.
You have to go and buy a base package, and they're not cheap. I'm not going to lie to you.
So the base package is kind of like a one-time purchase kind of deal, old school software as a package or deal, whereas now is your subscription service. Is it?
And how much is now a month?
Now a month is $10 a month, but they really want you to buy it per year, which it's $100 a year. So you kind of it's sort of like getting 2 months free. And then, but if you do it right now, if you get now, then it's $90.
So gold's going to cost you $572. Is that what you had? Did you have Logos 6 gold?
No, I have Logos 6 platinum, I think.
Okay, well let's see what that would cost then to just do a. I mean, if you don't mind us looking at your personal cost, to go from 6 to 7 at the same level.
How much?
Well, but see, that's confusing too, and I'm gonna
$1,000.
That Logos upgrade system is very confusing because I think I'm going from. This happened the first time with going from 4 to 5, and they gave it the same name as the 4 packages. They were really giving you a whole bunch of new books, but you didn't really know that. You thought, I'm just going from what I've got now.
It'll tell you if you scroll down. It'll tell you. Yeah, it says 462 resources you don't own.
Right.
You're asking Americans to read?
It's very confusing. For this 996 books, like you said, I'm getting a whole lot of extra content that I didn't have.
Now, let's see one of the titles and let's see whether or not you would want it. Because you can switch, you can switch that to new to use. So let's see something. So you could get the complete Jewish Bible.
And the Geneva Bible,
Bible.
and if you go down here to commentaries, I get the Ancient Christian Commentary, which is normally $307.
That's a nice set.
That's a really nice set.
Yeah, Hermannea. I could get the Anchor Yale Bible.
Those classic commentaries, though, I think are all public domain stuff.
Yeah, it's public domain.
Yeah, but you have it tagged and you have it locked into the thing.
Yeah, they say you get our value add because we're tagging it, making it work with all our cool tools.
So that's the whole thing. If you're a person who upgrades Logos religiously, or uses the term religiously, how often does Logos do a major update? Is it like every 2 years?
Every 2 years.
Yeah, they're on a 2-year cycle at this point.
All right, so if it's going to cost you
Just like some other
$500 to upgrade from Logos 6 to Logos 7 at about the same level, and they're doing it in 2 years, then Logos now makes sense.
No, it really doesn't, because you don't get the added content. You just get the data sets. So you wouldn't get the 400.
Oh, you're still going to have to.
I wouldn't get that. I don't get the Anchor Bible unless I buy it.
The Logos now is an extra $100 a year that allows you to see the new features before they're out, and you get to pay to beta.
Well, then no, there's no reason to do Logos
I didn't
now
say
at
that.
all. Yeah, there's no reason to do it.
And the thing is like Kevin was saying, is they have. It's like
But one at a time, guys. We're jumping all over each other tonight.
Yeah, it's like Kevin was saying. To jump from one package to the other, it's really confusing because, like, if you have Platinum in Logos 6 and Platinum in Logos 7, the difference there is they're throwing in a bunch of new books with this new package in version 7 to try to get you to pay more. But they've also got this like minimal cross grade that they really don't like to talk about. But if you just pay like $100, $200 or whatever it costs at the time, you can get all the data sets for like a couple $100 without
Is that
having to buy
available
any
yet?
new books.
That's not available yet.
Okay.
So they wait a little bit.
Here's the way they do this normally, and I'm guessing they'll do it again. They start with the packages, and then usually within 2 to 3 months you can get the cross grade, and then usually sometime in either late winter, early spring after the fall release or the late summer.
About 6 months later.
Yeah, then they give you can get just the core engine where you can just download the basic installer package for free. So if you're patient, you can wait and get just the real minimalistic upgrade.
But you're not going to have the data sets.
Right, you don't get the data set.
A few little ones here and there, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just seems.
Well, question, guys.
to me,
But it's free. You're not. It's free.
Okay.
Question, guys. You guys all have a fairly significant, whether digital or not, library. At listening to the way these packages go, I'm doing the whole budget. What makes sense, what doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Does the pastor or teacher who's using Logos as their regular piece of software, does it really make sense? Is it wise stewardship? That's a better question. Is it really wise stewardship to go effectively buy more resources or to get a better engine for the resources that you have? I mean, do you really need thousands upon thousands of resources?
Is it a better engine for the resources you have?
Oh, the data sets, I guess. I'm seeing this engine, but is it better? I mean,
to me, the best stewardship is to always get what you need. And so to me, the best thing would be to do the minimal crossgrade, to where you get the new data sets, and you're paying money for the new data sets because there's work going into that, and you're getting the new engine. That makes sense. I think that's fine.
But Larry, I'm gonna speak for them for a minute because I watched some of the videos yesterday. They would say that the more content that you have, the more valuable. A lot of like their passage guide and things like that, the more valuable it's going to be because it's going to have more resources to draw from because you can't read all these books yourself. So Logos reads it for you and puts out what someone has determined is the most important information.
Yeah, and my answer to that attitude is I don't want people reading stuff for me. I want to read it, and if I can't read it, I don't want to talk about it. Well, how on earth do I convey something?
You're misunderstanding what he means by have them read it for you.
Well, it's the idea. It's like they're parsing it for me.
No. Here's what they're doing. Here's what they're doing. When you say, I want to study Ephesians 1,
right?
Then they go to your library and grab everything from Ephesians 1 and list it for you. And
And
then
so it's like the resource library in Olive Tree.
what's that?
It's like the resource guide in Olive Tree, right?
Exactly.
Or the info pane in accordance.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, okay, fine.
Everybody's got that now.
That's different. Rick said it differently. Bad Rick, misleading.
No, I was saying what they said yesterday. They actually used that phrase. It reads it for you, but you took it differently than what I meant and what they said.
Yeah. Was I what you interpreted what they said? Was I being more
I agree with you, Kevin.
close to what?
No. Kevin just described. I'm fine with.
Yeah, and I agree with you. But I mean, I wasn't misquoting on purpose or anything. I was quoting essentially what they said yesterday.
That's a very strange way to put it.
Here's the thing: if you are a fan of Logos, which I'm certain we're going to have some people watching this, let me tell you about. We had a user named Christopher Powell.
Oh, he's getting a shout out. Look at that.
And Chris, we were so excited that you were looking forward to seeing this, and so we want to give you a shout out, and we also want to tell everybody to go over. First of all, follow Christopher Powell, Pastor Chris P. on Twitter. Second of all, go to his website, Nerdy Pastor. Now, my browser's not showing all of it perfectly, but it looks like some interesting content here. He's a good guy and a pastor. He's a husband, and he's from Ripley Nazarene Church in West Virginia. So thank you, Chris, for your shout out. He said, when I found out Logos was released, I couldn't wait for Theotek, and so we are so glad that you are interested and a fan, and we're a fan of you now. I started following you tonight.
I just followed him on Twitter.
Yeah, so everybody go follow him. He's got 77 followers. Our goal is to get that well over 100 by the end of the week, and maybe 150.
He's
All
at
right?
78 now. I followed him.
Go follow him. All right.
He's 78 now.
And honestly, I'm not 100% sure he's a fan, but, whoa, Logos 7 was really, okay, my wallet is about to get lighter. So I'm guessing he's a fan. If you're a fan of Logos 7, you're going to like this upgrade. It's a nice upgrade for people who like Logos 7, who use it.
People who like Logos.
It's got a lot of stuff in it. Okay.
And I will say too.
Hang on, let me just complete the thought. Also, if you're the kind of person who does this kind of study for all of these, things in here, you're gonna like it. Biblical theology section. I don't even know what that means. This is the first time I've even seen that. I've seen it, but first time I've even thought about it. You're gonna like the, let's see here, Reader's Edition Interlinear. So if you like the Reader's Edition and it has an interlinear connected to it, you're gonna like that. Interactives. Some of these interactives are pretty cool. Let's see here. Names of God interactive. So you're going to like that. Let's see if we can find that in the program. I've never used it. Again, that's because I was just too busy to bang on this like I needed to in order to do a review, and so I've not written a review. I've not done. All right, let's open up the Miracles of God interactive.
Kevin, I love the banging on this. It just makes me think of Bam Bam doing software testing.
Yeah. So, there's some cool stuff in here, right? If you're a fan of Accordance, you're going to hate this. You're never going to even think about upgrading or buying it. If you're a fan of BibleWorks, you're going to hate this. If you're a fan of Word Search, you're going to hate it, okay? And so let me just say this. All four of these guys, one of them hates Bible software in general. Raise your hand. Antoine, I was talking to you. Two of them are Accordance fans. One works for Accordance. The other one thinks Accordance is the best thing since sliced bread. You guys raise your hand, right? And the other one works for Olive Tree. So, they're being snarky, and now you kind of understand why they're being.
Listen, but I am financially invested into all of them. And I'm up-to-date current on all of them.
So let me tell you where I come at it, because I've used all of these. Logos is my chosen because 12 years ago I invested $500 in it, and since then I've invested probably $5,000 in resources. And I know how to use it. I don't have to think hard about opening it up and figuring out how to get where I want to go and do the things I want to do. Here's the other thing I'll say as a bit of a critique of Logos. I think since Logos 4, I think that they have gone so far to the point of let's add all kinds of whiz-bang features that I think that I wish they would have instead taken all of that time and resource and making it just run faster. And I wish they would have taken some of those resources and made the Logos web app, which I'll show you right here, that I was told when I first subscribed to Logos Now, what was it, a year ago, I guess, when it came out, that Logos web app would become Logos 6 then, now Logos 7 on the internet. Now you look at it and it's close, right? The problem is you open up Tools and you get check back soon. Well, how soon is soon? Soon for them is within 5 years it'll be there, maybe.
Jesus coming back soon.
I'm disappointed in this web app. I understand they don't make money at it. I'd rather them say, give me $10 a month so that you can have access to the web app. I'd quit subscribing to Logos Now and I'd subscribe to the web app for $10 a month. I would. I'd be happy to give them $100 a year if they made this work a lot like this without all of this stuff, with half of this stuff, right? Or even just 1/3 of it. And so that's what I'm going to say about my critique of Logos. You know, go ahead, and LaRosa.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm a big fan of Logos as well. I mean, over the years, I've invested at least $7,000. Well, I did the math earlier this year. I invested over $7,000 in their software over the years since like 2008, I guess. Yeah, and so I appreciate what they do. And one of the things I really like what they do is just all the data mining that they're doing, like all these different data sets that they're coming up with. I think it's pretty awesome that they have the resources available to them to where they can spend time to put that kind of stuff together. Because really no other Bible software company has the time and resources to dig in to that kind of stuff. It was just one of the things for me, like as a user. I originally bought it because I was training to be a pastor, and just through the way life has gone, I haven't preached since Christmas, I guess, and I don't do it regularly anymore. So it was just one of those things where it's like I've got all this software that I'm not using, and so I ended up getting rid of it and gave it to someone who, and sold it to someone who was going to be able to actually use it on a day in and day out basis. And from what I found, I mean, I work at Olive Tree. I will clearly say that pretty much everything in Olive Tree software I get for free as an employee. So, I mean, I'm well equipped with Olive Tree, and for what I need on a day-to-day basis, it works for me. But I still really appreciate what Logos does.
So, LaRosa, share a couple of the sets, the data mining that you find are really impressive for Logos.
One of the ones that I really appreciated, just because even though I'm not really good at it, I really like text criticism, is the manuscript explorer that they put together, so that you can visually see all the different manuscripts and their years when they were, like when it was found, when it was written, the family that it comes from, and just kind of all that stuff that you'd have to dig through, like your NA28 index to try to figure all that stuff out. Where like they put it just right at your fingertips for you.
That's cool.
How to get to that? Well, I can actually even show it.
I don't know, because I never used it because I wasn't on Logos Now.
Oh, okay. That's something that came out after you got rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just one of the things where I saw Rick Brandon talking about it, and I was like, that's really cool.
Okay.
Whereas, like, if I was still a user and actually digging into the text every day, where I needed that kind of stuff, that'd be really cool.
Okay.
As an aside, I just got a new follower on Twitter, and it's Logo Design News with the hashtag of logos, LOGOS, but I think that's different than Logos.
I think you're right.
I think it has nothing to do with it, and yet they just followed me because I retweeted one of the tweets that one of you guys sent out a minute ago.
Yeah, that is Logos, and that's the proper way to pronounce it.
It's funny.
So, yeah, I like the fact that someone's doing all this stuff, because there are people out here who want to do this stuff. I'm not one of them. I study books of the Bible. I study passages of the Bible specific to that passage, and I want to find everything related to that specific verse or set of verses or chapter, preparing a Bible study or a sermon. I don't do lots of complex searching. I'm not a language scholar. I'm not a theological scholar. I'm a preacher who's going to, and so I have not, I've sort of put a moratorium on buying stuff. You know, because I'm one of these guys, when I see Logos 7 come out, ooh, yeah, I could get that package, and oh, that's only $50 a month. I can afford that. And then I think, no, I really don't need that anymore, because I've already got tons of stuff. I'm just not going to buy anymore. You know, it bit me that a while back, I was seriously contemplating skipping out on Logos and getting rid of it, and even sold a bunch of my resources. But at the time, I was like, well, I'm going to sell these and hold on to this cash and use it to pay for books for my son going to college. And what I do, I just bought the stuff in accordance. And
thank you for that. Did you get any discount incentive for being a beta tester?
Well, I told him that I was that. Are you talking about with Logos?
Yeah.
They gave. Well, I think if I quit subscribing to Logos 7, I would still get to keep Logos 7 and the data sets.
Because you're a beta tester.
Because I was a beta tester.
You quit subscribing to Logos Now, okay.
Yeah, but see, I'm already a Logos Now subscriber, so I would have gotten it anyway. But yeah, when I went to Accordance and asked them for discounts, I said, yeah, I know Rick Mansfield, and they said, oh, we're going to have to charge more.
We gave you a free essential, if I remember correctly, for review.
Yeah, you're right. I did. I got a pretty nice package for free for reviewing it when I first reviewed it. But then I've also bought some Accordance stuff, because I think Accordance is also a great tool. There's a lot of great tools. If I could, I'd be an expert in every one.
We have an embarrassment of riches.
Yes.
In the time in which we live.
Yeah.
And Laurus has a great point with the textual criticism stuff on the variants. For years using Bible software, that just killed me that you couldn't access this stuff because the Bible publication societies didn't want to publish their apparatus. And so now they have it, and essentially in Olive Tree and Accordance and everything, we have the NA28 in digital form. But to have that, really visually put out and have them all set up like that is just really cool. And I know like Accordance has like a version of that to compare old manuscript stuff, but to nail that simply that's a feat that should be celebrated.
Yeah. Any other questions about Logos 7 from you guys? Nope. Okay. Well, here, let's unbox this right here on the air. Voila! Here it is.
It's the first time you've laid hands on it.
I was afraid he was going to pull the lid out and drop it on the ground. We just hear a crack.
This, folks, right here is this Fango whatever. Anyway, it's the Galaxy Note 7
with stylus.
I love.
You can't put it in backwards.
You cannot put it in backwards. There are people trying to put it in backwards and breaking their phones like idiots. And Samsung fixed the problem, and yet people are still trying to do it. But this is one of the cool features that I love that's back for a command performance in this version. And that is you can take notes right on the screen without even turning the phone on. You just pop the stylus off, and it gives you this little note feature, which you can.
That is pretty dang cool.
That is pretty dang cool. Look, it's got a headphone jack, which I really like. It's USB Type-C, which is a great thing for the future. For the present day, it really bit me in the butt because I didn't bring my Type-C charger with me recently when we dropped my son off in South Carolina. And you know how it is when you leave your home area. It just seems like your battery drains a lot faster, and so my battery got down to next to nothing. So I had to turn everything off in order to be able to use the phone during that time. One of the things that I don't like about this phone is there's no Accordance app on here. And I wonder if there's a way to fix that, since it's a...
There is a way to fix that soon.
Okay.
Well, and I say soon. Soon's relative, but yeah.
Is it like Logos?
Come back soon.
I
Live
can
up
tell you that it is not vaporware. I can tell you
second
that much.
coming soon or accordance soon. Anyway, the interface is, it's a Galaxy interface. You can get overlays. I mean, what do you call them? Launchers that look differently if you don't like the Galaxy look and feel.
Nova launcher.
I was looking for my Palm Pilot that I had a few weeks ago. We could compare styluses, but I can't find it. I don't know what I did with it.
One thing I love about Samsung Pay as opposed to Apple Pay is, I live in an area where there are hardly any Apple Pay terminals. However,
Really?
Samsung Pay works even with the old-fashioned style swipe machines.
How is that possible?
It is. It does. I bought a bagel sandwich at Chick-fil-A this morning at a place that did not accept.
So if you hadn't had that phone, you could have not gotten the bagel sandwich.
I would have gone hungry without this phone.
Okay.
Chick-fil-A takes Apple Pay now.
What's that?
Chick-fil-A takes Apple Pay now.
Announced
Not
earlier
here,
this
they
week
don't.
that they're actually doing Android Pay.
At this
Interesting.
they do not. And they do not take Android Pay either.
Can you order an extra stylus for when you lose the stylus that came with it?
If you lose your stylus, you can buy a new stylus. Yes,
It's like $40 for a new one.
but
Wow.
it's got a great inking. I mean, it's almost. I would say it's as good for the phone interface as the Apple Pencil is for the iPad Pro.
What's the
That is
pressure
the-
sensitivity on it?
What's that?
What's the pressure sensitivity on it like?
I don't have that right on the top of my head. I'd have to look it up.
But I mean, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Because it's not it's not a battery powered stylus, right?
No.
It's capacitive. Okay.
Kevin, so one of the critiques against Samsung is that they always seem to come out with a brand new Note right around the time that Google releases a brand new operating system, and Android and Nougat just went official yesterday.
Oh no.
Do you see the Note 7 as getting that in all of its beautiful big screen glory, or
Because the Nexus got it.
7,
It'll
Is the
get
Note
it probably in March.
Here's the thing. I got the Note 5 last year. That's interesting. They skipped from 5 to 7, sort of like going from Windows 8 to 10.
I wonder why they would do that. I wonder why they'd want to come out with the number 7.
Because
Six
it's
To keep up with the Galaxy S series.
Because the iPhone 7 is
No,
coming out in a
6
month.
means death.
well,
6 means death, and it's all.
they may be doing it
So
for
does
Apple,
4,
or they
but
may
that's all.
be doing it to match the S7s, or they may be doing it for both reasons. Anyway, I got the Note 5 last year, and that came out, I think it was in September. I got the S7 earlier this year, I believe in March, and my T-Mobile Note 5 had yet to get Android 6.0. At that,
And that is why I switched to an iPhone.
right.
Yeah.
Well, you
That's a great selling point
switch
for
to an
an
iPhone, you can't get Android at all. You know that, right?
I understand, but
I'm kidding. No, and that's an issue, but here's the thing. I used to be one of those that complained a lot about that, and I still don't like it. I don't like the fact that Android is that way. I think it has more to do with the manufacturer and the carriers than Android, than Google. I think Google.
My Acer Android tablet I bought this year is stuck on 4.4.
But I think what Google has done to sort of help with that is they have taken the Google Services app and they have taken the Google individual apps.
Mm-hmm. They broke it out of the operating system.
And so I can download it. And so the functionality of this phone is going to be very Nougat-like very soon, even if I don't have the Nougat operating system. And the fact that the fact that I sort of like the Galaxy interface, I'm sort of weird that way. There's a lot of people who don't, but I kind of like it because maybe it's because I'm used to it. I've owned a bunch of Galaxies.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really notice it that much. When you do finally get the latest version, it's like, okay, it's really not that big a difference. And so I think they've alleviated that issue a little bit. Okay, it's still not.
I only bring that up because it's new, and I mean you have the highlight device, of the month for real, for that. But Google, to those who are watching and may not know, there was a really big security flaw pointed out in Android about a month ago. Fairly big, 1.4 billion Android devices are susceptible to it. And it's not a man-in-the-middle attack. It's basically the cellular radio can be easily hacked, very easily hacked. And so that's one of the things that, when Google does do these updates, the monthly security updates, or in this case, moving to 7, that they're able to patch those things quickly. If an issue like that comes up, do you as an Android owner, or have confidence that not so much Samsung or Google, but your carrier even has the best interest in mind, even though you're not on the latest operating system there or close to the latest? Because I get features and functionality, but every phone does the exact same thing now. That's immaterial. What they don't all do well is secure your stuff or you. And Samsung Pay is secure. What about Android?
Well, I think the issue that you're talking about, I think most of the carriers updated that, in a short time that it wasn't an issue.
No, they have
Yeah,
not.
I got one. I got one on my S7.
Nah, that's
I've got an operating system update.
Not that update.
That update.
Not that security update. No,
Yeah,
this is the bigger. This is a bigger one. This one came from Qualcomm, and it's not yet been pushed down. That's why.
You're talking about a different one that I don't know anything about.
Yeah, it's pretty major.
Well, here's another thing I think that's cool about the Galaxies is they each come with one of these. All right. See, that's a USB.
A USB to go converter.
Yeah, every one of their phones comes with it now. So
why do they spend $2.99 on Amazon?
Why do they come with it? Well, because now what I want, if I take my old phone, which I haven't turned back in yet, I can plug them in and update and copy all my stuff over here. It takes about, you want to make sure you charge this all the way first and then do it. But here's the other cool thing is now, from now on, if I want, I can plug
your thumb drive in, yeah.
Get some expanded storage. This now comes with an SD card. It'll hold up to, I think, a 256 gigabyte card at this point. The screen's beautiful. The camera is outstanding, just like the S7 camera was. It feels great in your hand. I love the feel. The rounded edge compared to the S7, which was more sharp and pointy, just feels really good. The buttons feel solid. They don't feel like cheap buttons.
Is it just as slick as the Note 5 was, being the glass back?
It's slick. I mean, it's a slick phone. It's just as slick as my iPhone is. S7.
I almost dropped my Note 5 so many times. Like, the first thing I did when I got it is I went and bought a back from Slick Wraps, just so I could have some kind of tacky feel to the back of it.
It's no slicker than my iPhone is. It's the same. So
okay. I got to play with one the other day, Kevin, and I got to say that screen is pretty. I mean, it's
the same size screen in a smaller device.
It's higher resolution than the iPhone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I like both. I like both really well. I think I love my iPhone 6 Plus, and I love my Note 7, and I loved my S7 Edge. The Edge part of it is, for me, is just a look thing. I think it looks cool. The Edge apps are crap, totally worthless. If they went away tomorrow, I wouldn't notice. So I don't care about those.
Yeah. If you gave me an iPhone with an S Pen, I'd be in tech heaven.
What's that?
I said if you gave me an iPhone with an S Pen, I'd be in tech heaven right now. I miss my S Pen.
Yeah, or if Apple came out with a little mini Apple Pencil.
Yes.
The iPhone, that would be awesome. So, if you are,
I love Antoine's face whenever we talk about styluses that he doesn't appreciate. It's just great.
If you're an Android fan, I think this is the best Android phone you can buy.
I would disagree. The OnePlus 3 kicks butt.
Explain why, Mr. Antoine. Explain why.
Oh, well, one.
Plus 3. Sorry.
If you like the big phone feel, it's got a great weight to it. Really good weight, front and rear. Speed of the operating system, it feels like a Nexus device. You don't have any lag whatsoever, even with some of the OnePlus enhancements to it. And, well, frankly speaking, it's half the price of that S7. No.
That is very true.
Half the price for all of the same functionality.
I'm a T-Mobile customer who uses the Jump, and so
It doesn't cost you much, yeah.
You
He
use
cheated.
doesn't bother me. I don't care about that as much. I mean, it'd be nice. I wish that it was $20 a month instead of $35 a month.
Yeah.
On Jump, but it's the Note 7 is just as fast as the S7 was, faster actually. Feels great. So I think it's a great phone.
Cool. So Kevin, are you using that as your primary phone right now, or what are you doing?
Got a headphone jack.
You are so infatuated with that headphone jack rumor.
I like it.
Is it on the where's it positioned, Kevin? Was that on the side?
It's on the
bottom.
Oh, okay.
Which I think
okay. I saw it incorrectly.
Well, actually, Kevin, do the comparison of the 6 Plus with the Note 7 next to each other from the bottom.
You can see it well enough on my camera. They look very similar. It's almost as if Apple's copying Samsung.
Right.
Apple is copying Samsung. Didn't you see all the royalty payments that go that way?
Yeah, that's true. Well, listen, guys, it's been fun. We're getting overtime, and hey, Pastor Chris just tweeted us saying thanks for mentioning it, and
look at that.
and taking part with us. We are thankful and very humbled that someone in the world cared what we had to say about all this stuff, and we're glad that both of you care.
He cared, and he got us.
But our Lagos rep never showed. But maybe he was on West Coast time, and somehow we got confused.
Well, he knew the time. I told him the proper time.
Well, they're busy. It's not like they're not busy today and yesterday.
Yeah, I was like, it was a moonshot. I thought that we would even have a chance at getting somebody from Lagos this week.
Yeah.
When he said he could, I was like, whoa, really? Seriously? You're not too busy?
They're probably fielding call after call after call at this point. So
he probably is just overworked and just couldn't get away. So I'm not going to fault him at all. Maybe later, maybe some other time we can get a real good demonstration of it. We won't do it next week. We'll go to another topic next week. But we're really glad that we could talk Lagos tonight, talk Samsung tonight. We don't have time for any more our favorite things, and so we'll hold those off. Let's do that next week, guys. Every once in a while we do just a Our Favorite Things show. So, guys, let's plan that. Next week is going to be all our favorite things, unless something really wild comes up that we feel like we need to talk about.
So we should have more than one?
Yeah, everybody come up with 2 or 3 your favorite
categories, hardware, software.
Yeah, whatever. Movies, your favorite, coffee drink, whatever. And we'll have fun with it. But this has been the Theotek Podcast, and you can find us, as always, on Theotek.com. You can go to YouTube and subscribe. Please do that. Make comments if you want to hear from us. Send us a note on Twitter at Theotek Podcast. That's Theotek Podcast on Twitter. You can follow us there, which it tweets out when we start going live. I think it still does. I don't know. Now that we're doing it through YouTube, I don't know if it...
I got a YouTube notification because I'm subscribed to your channel.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, the best way is to go ahead and subscribe on YouTube. You will definitely get notice. Oh, it gave you of our live...
Yeah, I got it on my phone. That's what I was trying to get a copy of the link to send to this guy who had emailed me.
I like that. It didn't do that before, did it?
Yeah, I don't think it did.
Yeah, I like that. Well, so definitely, the best thing to do is subscribe live on YouTube. Or go to Theotek.com and find the audio version. Tonight was a bad time to be just listening, but if you are an audio listener and you are still here listening, wow, bless you, thank you. You either forgot that it was on and it's just on in the background and you haven't really been paying attention, or you're a glutton for punishment because this was a very visual show. But thank you for all of you who follow it, and we really do love doing this. We do it for you. I mean, we have fun with each other, just kind of messing around and talking to each other and giving each other a hard time. But we do it for you guys who are listening or watching, and so we really appreciate you. So get in touch with us. All right, guys, it's been fun.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.